Hello, everybody. Thank you for logging in to today's session of the community table. Okay, I'm seeing more and more names pop up. That's a good thing. A lot of names I'm familiar with, a few that I haven't seen before. So, welcome if this is your first community table. Thank you for joining us today. And yeah, some of my friends who have been around for a long time. Good to see your names popping up here. Um, with the current emphasis on the employment requirements in mainstream benefits, the coalition wanted to make sure that our member agencies and partner agencies knew what resources are available to help your clients get jobs, because just like with housing, it's one thing to remove those barriers, it's another thing to actually get housing, and even another thing to keep housing. And it's the same with a job. There are barriers to employment that need to be dealt with. People have to actually get a job, and then they have to be able to keep a job. So we want to make sure that our clients, the people that we serve, have access to all of the wonderful things that are available to them in the community. And so today we have Erica Blackshear Anderson from Wellspring, and from KentuckianaWorks, we have Chris Locke and Yvonne Jones. So thank you all so much for giving up some of your time today to be with us and talk to our case managers and direct service providers. And if you have a question, just raise your hand. I'll try to monitor that and take you off mute, or you can type it in the chat. And I'm going to turn it over to Erica right now. I know she's got some time constraints, so I told her that she could have the first slot here. So, Erica, the screen is yours, and tell us about all the good things Wellspring is doing to help people who want to be employed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate the observation of my time constraints. Um, like Laura said, I am from Wellspring. We are a mental health recovery agency. I manage the supported employment program, which is we use an evidence-based model called IPS, which is individualized placement and supports. And what that means is that we take time to understand an individual's skills, abilities, disabilities, the entirety of a person's life to be able to match them with an appropriate employer opportunity. We run much differently than a temp service, although we do use things like second chance employers and things of that nature. We're definitely in the community in that way, but it does take a different set of time and skills to be able to match a person. So we do things like employer contacts. So that is building a relationship with an employer to better understand their business needs, what they look for in ideal candidates, what makes their agent, or excuse me, not agency, their organization tick, and things like that. Um, to go back to what the model that we use involves, we help people that live with severe mental illness. So you may hear me say SMI throughout this, and that is our demographic. Most of, not all, but a good portion of our clients do also come with substance use disorder. Um, we meet clients where they are. And so while we definitely encourage sobriety and recovery and things like that, we do not push it, because when you're dealing with somebody who has that mental health component and substance use, um, pushing and things like that can lead to further use, and that's also not something that we want. So instead, we just encourage and meet them where they are. So we find employers that understand the demographic that we work with, and then we kind of go along from there. Um, our thought process behind this approach is to use the entire treatment team that a person has on their side. So if that means therapist, case manager, peer support, hopefully we've got family involvement that's there in a positive way. We use that as well. Um, And so if somebody's meeting with a therapist and they start to mention things like, I'm showing some symptoms, I don't know what these hallucinations are telling me, things like that, they will come to us. More often than not, I have reoccurring meetings with my therapist and case manager so that I can understand and just stay on top of, so that we can be proactive rather than reactive for someone who is experiencing symptoms and things like that, maybe crisis. Um, so, with each respect to a person's life that a person is going to be facing at any given time, so food sensitivity or scarcity, housing situations, medications, things like that, transportation, we try to just wrap around. You hear wraparound services all the time. So, that's one of the other big pieces of our program. Um, how someone can access our service, our IPS service, which we call Wellspring Works. It's basically threefold. So it can either be an internal referral, so that'll come from a therapist, case manager, peer support, something like that. Um, they will do what's called a considering a job form, which will get kind of a little snapshot of their work history, their interest level, maybe a skill set is also thrown in there. They'll let me know, and then I'll invite them to a one-on-one session so that I can let them know exactly how our program works, maybe dismantle some misinformation that may have trickled down the line to them. I get a Social Security check, so I can't work. Not true. Or I get a Social Security check, I can only work 5 hours. Also not true. So I like to have a one-on-one or invite them to my biweekly info session to kind of give them some more information to either take home or just talk more about. Another way is a self-refer. So a person does not have to receive other services through Wellspring. They could knock on the door and ask to use the restroom, see one of my flyers and say, I want to learn more. And then boom, they're in the program that way. Another way is directly from the Office of Oak Rehab. So Office of Oak Rehab supports us. Um, if anyone here does not know, they are operating on a wait list right now, which has crippled a lot of our employment services around the city and the state. That's a whole nother huge conversation that is a little bit confusing, to be honest. So I won't go too much into that, but we work with them. And so if they have a client and says, well, you know what, Wellspring's IPS program would be a good fit, let me reach out to the program manager, Erica, and let her take it from there. Again, come to my info session, schedule a one-on-one with me, and get more information right from me to let you know how the program works. Um, Specific supports that our program provide, there are many, and they vary depending on the participant that we're working with at any given time. But there are several that are interchangeable no matter who we are working with. Some of those are going to be benefits counseling. And I don't mean just SSI or SSDI. Do you get EBT, right? Do you have childcare set up? I'm trying to put some more focus on benefits outside of the regular or the norm. So, for example, I have a lot of single parents, not just single mothers, but single parents that receive EBT, and let's say they get it on the 7th. Well, by the 20th, they've got no more food in their house. So I'm trying to work with other financial institutions to help give us a broader picture on how can we budget our EBT earnings so that throughout the month we don't see that empty refrigerator, empty cabinets. How can we stretch some things to go a little bit further? So that's a different type of benefits counseling that I want to try to start developing. We also have the traditional benefits counseling, obviously, where we work with Center for Accessible Living, CWIC, things like that. We'll also have employer contacts. Um, myself and my employment specialist, we're never really off when it comes to employer contacts. So I give people the example, if I'm running to Kroger or if I've got to go pick up my children from school and I see a business that pops into my mind that Joe Schmo has, this is his skill set, this is his line of work that he's interested in, let me make a mental note or put it in one of my thousands of notebooks to jot down so that I can reach out for an info interview from that employer and just start to gain insight on their business needs. And then I'll kind of jot that away and I just do that as I go. Um, we've got mock interviews, skills building. I'm working on, hopefully next week, I will have two new monitors in my office where skills building, like, I want to work in this industry, I'm really interested, but I don't have the computer skills. Let's set up time, reoccurring weekly. You come in here, we set you up on a program or a system, and you work on those skills. We monitor the improvement weekly as we go along. At that same time, in the background, I'm still doing employer contacts. Um, we do interviews, interview or work clothing. I don't know if you all know, Nearly News Shop, which is a huge staple in our community here in Louisville. It's in the Highlands. It is closing its doors after almost 7 decades, and that's happening at the end of next month. We do have other resources, luckily, but that's another resource. We get clothing for mock interviews, first day and forward until you start getting your regular paychecks and can set aside money if you need to for things like that. Um, job fairs, interviews. I've got a lot of clients that want me to come to interviews with them, and that's no problem. Having that talk of disclosure is a really big piece of IPS. Excuse me. Um, resume building. A lot of our clients have resumes, but they're maybe a little bit outdated. We're going to revamp those. One of the prerequisites of my program is that we need to see what that email address looks like. Make sure it's not an inappropriate one from the early 2000s when we were really feeling ourselves back in the day, right? And it's got some inappropriate things in that email title. Same thing with a voicemail. Is it appropriate for employers to reach out to you and leave a voicemail on where they're not going to scratch their heads and rethink maybe reaching out for an interview? Um, like I said, there's a lot more, but it's really tailored to the client and what their job preference are, what their accommodations may be, what the job that they're pursuing looks like. Um, and so we tailor it to that. Um, as I said earlier, clients do not need to be taking part in any other programs within Wellspring for them to join IPS. While OVR does have not a hiring, excuse me, um, an application freeze, kind of, if you will, right now. We are looking at other ways. There's a new waiver called the 1915I waiver that's coming out to support folks with SMI who want to get back into the workforce. We're looking into that as well. So there's other opportunities, but I really hope I didn't talk too fast. But I will open it up to any questions that someone might have. Thank you.
Okay, raise your hand or put your question in the chat. Okay, how does one get referred to the program?
So you can send, so the client can either just come here. You can shoot me an email, which I'll put my email in the chat, and then we can have that one-on-one session. They can come to a group, which I've got one being held at 12:45. And that's biweekly. So the group is biweekly every other Wednesday here at Bernie Block Wellness Center. I'll put the address in there too. Always at 1 o'clock, always at the same location. Once an applicant fills out everything and I send it off to OVR, they will say, okay, they're eligible, but they're on the wait list. We are crossing our fingers that the wait list will be opened up hopefully by the end of the year. I've got folks that are on it now for going on 2 months. Um, like I said, the new waiver that's coming down, I don't know if my leadership across the street is going to go ahead and do everything that's required to get that started. But if we do, and I have a feeling that we will, um, then that'll be another way that we can go ahead and start seeing clients come in and get started with the program. So I hope that makes sense. Um, there's another question. In the case of an SSI check, your example might not be too far off the mark. SSDI permits more gainful employment and earnings. Um, can you rephrase that in some kind of way? So, what I will say with SSI and SSDI, um, A lot of how many hours you can work depends on the job and the amount that they're willing to pay per hour. So if you earn a certain amount, which I'll give an example. If Home Depot says, we can bring you in at $15 an hour, then our benefits counselor will take that, plug it into their system and say, okay, based on the earnings that you're getting paid already and the amount that you're going to be making per hour, these are how many hours you can work per week. Um, so I hope that kind of answers your question. Put it in the chat if it doesn't. If I need to look out to get a better answer or more resources, I will certainly do that and send it to you. And
Eric,
you're welcome, Mr.
I have
Johnson.
a couple of questions. What types of jobs have you placed clients in?
So we have, okay, let me look on my board. So we've got a vet assistant, we've got an auto tech tire technician, um, we have a chef, so a chef position that was just filled yesterday by one of our clients. He started today, actually. We've got UPS. We've got one of our clients went through the night school of welding and joined a union as a welder. Um, we have Kroger distribution, Kroger, um, like the neighborhood store, Kroger. Um, we've got an unarmed security officer. We have retail and we've got customer service and we have um, fast food, things like that. Some of it um, will also depend, obviously, justice involved folks will be a little bit more limited until we can get through the expungement process. So,
Okay, thank you. And the other question I have is if the client self-refers or comes from an agency outside of Wellspring, what do
mhm.
you need for SMI proof? Excuse me, got the hiccups.
So no problem. So we would have to have a background of diagnosis. So questions would be asked during intake. If they have no other services here at Wellspring, then we would have to do the intake. And so that entire process would involve, did you spend any time at any hospitals? Did you seek any care from another agency? And then we would sign the ROIs and then get that information so that we could see that track record or those diagnoses and then send that with that application to OVR. So in a self-refer situation, it would be we would have to get that information from the client themselves and
Okay,
then kind of backtrack from there.
okay. But if they showed up with a private psychiatrist letter or something like that, that would be
Mhm.
acceptable?
I've never had that example happen, but again, if they did sign an ROI, speak to that psychiatrist, get that diagnosis or that paperwork, and then just kind of go from there. Learn about any medications that they were on, what history that psychiatrist had been given from the client, things like that.
Okay. All right, let's see. For the potential clients of your program, do they need to have a dual diagnosis or just some proof of SMI?
So they do not need to have dual diagnosis. It's just the bulk of our clients come with that. SMI is the main thing that we're looking at. They do have to have that diagnosis in order to qualify for this program. Um, because there are other services outside of Wellspring that provide employment opportunities for folks with special needs, traumatic brain injury. Because this is just a mental health recovery agency, this would be the diagnosis that's needed.
Okay, and you probably said this, but you serve adults. Your program is not for teenagers.
No, 18 and above. We've never had anyone, at least before my time and before my predecessor's time, it was always 18 and above. So,
Right.
Mhm.
Okay. And I see you put your email in there. Thank you for doing that. And could you put the address for the Bernie Block
Yeah,
Center?
I am doing that right now.
Okay. Anybody else have questions or comments for Erica and what's going on at Wellspring? Okay, there we've got the address. And if all else fails, if you lose this information, you can just call Wellspring and
Yes.
they can put you in touch with Erica.
Yes, and I'll also put down my cell phone number. Um, 262. There we go.
Oh, they're not seeing it. Are you uh in it
Oh, it's
everyone
saying
or just hosts and panelists?
it's saying host and panelist, but I'm not sure how to. Oh, I
Uh,
see the little drop down.
Click it
I
over.
just changed it to everyone. Okay.
Okay, you might need to re-enter it.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, your email, phone, and the address.
I'm sorry this is coming all separately. I don't know how to make a new line without hitting enter. I'm not tech
Oh,
savvy
yeah,
at all, so if somebody wants to let me know.
that's fine.
Uh,
Okay. Okay. Okay, everybody should be able to see it now.
okay.
All right, we'll leave that up there for everybody. Any other questions or comments before Erica has to scoot? All right, well, Erica, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes today and letting people know what's going on over there at Wellspring. It's really nice to see you again.
Yeah, you as well, Laura. I hope everything's going well.
It
And
is.
I want to encourage everybody, don't hesitate to reach out to me if you have questions, something that I didn't cover. Um, Text, call, email, stop by, doesn't matter. I appreciate the time. Thank you.
All right, take care. Tell everybody I said
I
hi over at Wellspring.
I definitely will. I
All
definitely
right,
will.
thanks.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, so you've heard about what Wellspring can do if you have clients with a mental illness diagnosis. And so now we're going to hear from our friends Chris and Yvonne about all the good things going on over at KentuckianaWorks and what support they can be for you and your clients. So I'm just going to turn it over to them and let them do their thing.
Okay. Well, thank you, Laura. Let me try to share this screen. Our approach is going to be slightly different than the wonderful presentation you had from Miss Blackshear, but we're going to be a little bit more high level, I think. And then, so it's a pleasure to be able to present to um, the members today, and also to present with Yvonne Jones, who's the Kentuckian, our one-stop operator for our adult career center. So let me just kind of start by working through this. I won't read every detail to you, but just want to give you a little bit of an overview of Kentuckiana Works so you'll know a little bit about us, and then also tell you a little bit about the services that we offer, particularly in the area, obviously, of employment. So here you see just the big picture about our vision and mission. Just so you know, we are the uh, Regional Workforce Development Board, for the 7 county region. So particularly today, we'll primarily be focusing on Jefferson County, but we are the Workforce Development Board for the 7 county region. Uh, and our vision is to be fully prepared and engaged workforce that is aligned with our employers. So we have more than two customers, but certainly job seekers and employers are our two main constituencies. Our mission, you see it there, engaging employers, educators, job seekers with resources to build a stronger community through the dignity of work that satisfies needs and creates values and inspires. So I think that's just the context for who KentuckianaWorks is. Um, I won't go through this brief history of work boards. But just know that there's been different iterations of the workforce board. We have 10 workforce boards in the state of Kentucky, just so you'll know that. Our funding traditionally was primarily from the federal government, but since then, particularly here at KentuckianaWorks, our funding streams have become significantly more diverse, and we've had the opportunity to be able to raise private funds as well to help with some of the initiatives that we have available to job seekers and in support of employers. We do have some priorities. This does not as much specifically to you as case managers, as practitioners, but we think it's important for people to know we do have priorities that kind of ground some of our work. And those are around racial equity, career pathways, and workforce alignment. So with all some of that out of the way, who is it that KentuckianaWorks serves? Um, Even though you see the slide here, I also just keep it simple and say we serve youth, young adults, and employers. So we got four main groups. We won't talk a lot about the employers in the sense of serving them because that's not really what we were invited to talk about. It was more about connecting them to our employment services. But they are the fourth group that we put in that: youth, young adults, and employers. In this case, let me go a little bit into some of our programming. First, you see there was our in-school group. I heard the question asked by Lori earlier, I think, or maybe it was someone else that mentioned, did Wellspring serve teenagers? Well, in our case, you just heard the four constituencies that we primarily work to serve. In this case, in terms of our in-school employment-related programming, here you see a listing of our summer jobs program, or summer works as we refer to it. You see there the ages which we work with, the 16 to 21-year-olds, some of the services in which that entails around paid work experiences, job coaching, resume writing, assistance, interview prep. We do career exploration with those young people, and also financial literacy is woven into that. In some cases where they're earning their first checks and things like that, we want to also kind of help them or give them some additional tools to be able to utilize that. At the bottom of the screen, you just have some numbers there that really reflect some of the outcomes from this year. In the case of SummerWorks, you see how many young people registered for the program and how many were placed in what we call sponsor jobs. We also put those young people into private sector positions as well. We also have another program that serves young people is our After the Tassel program. This is for young people who are high school seniors who are in high school, who are not going directly to college when they graduate, who are interested in going directly into the workforce. So that program works with those high school seniors throughout the year. Um, Again, career exploration, trying to help them identify what type of employment, what type of job/career they might be interested in. And then we help them with the various kind of job readiness or pre-employment kinds of skills that they may need, or that will at least assist them and build their capacity around being ready to step into employment opportunities. So you see the resume writing assistance, the interview prep again, job coaching. They're paid in these positions, and transportation assistance. Continuing along with the line of programming for young people, we have our Academies of Louisville Alliance. It is more like it says, is an alliance, and this is just a focus where we are intentional about working with the school district in terms of helping young people who are in school work with, identify their career paths, and also help them connect to work-based learning projects. They go on field trips to employers. They do job shadows. There's skill building around equipment and technical support. Then ultimately, it's about when they earn credentials uh, and get certain kinds of training that they have employment opportunities when they leave high school. Transitioning out of those programs, we have the out of school young adults that we work with. That's 16 to 21, I mean 24 years of age. You may or may not have heard of a location we have called the Spot. We have two locations for the Spot. One is on Chestnut Street, and then another is over in South Louisville, in the uh, I don't know, in the little plaza over there in South Louisville. So we'll give more specifics and
Southland
addresses.
Terrace.
Mhm.
It's
In
in
Southland
Southland Terrace.
Terrace. Yes. So you see again with the Spot, again, these are 16 to 24-year-old young adults who are out of work or not working. You see some of the services that are offered to them once they connect at the Spot. You get paid internships, career training, and certifications again. You got job and college tours, supportive services for young people that get jobs, but also supportive services in for transportation and other modes. We have GED preparation, opportunity for them to get their GEDs. We have support for court involved young adults. We have homeless assistance program where we have a specific grant that we received that allows some assistance there, and we have mental health support there as well. So again, on a micro level where you have the actual practitioners that are doing that work, you'll hear more about how to connect, or we'll help you if you connect to the centers, you can get really drilled down and get the details of that work, like you heard earlier, kind of from the individual from Wellspring. And had another successful year here with the Opportunity Youth and Young Adults. As you see those numbers there, at 878 young adults enrolled in the program this year. And when we say this year, it's July 1 to June 30th. That's kind of how we track a year's period. But these are ongoing services that are available. And you see the number placed in jobs this year, 279. So moving on to the adult population. Uh, and this is, where we have the Adult Career Services and Comprehensive Career Center that we have located at the Goodwill Economic Opportunity Campus. And as you see there with the Kentucky Career Center, there's career workshops that we offer, resume writing assistance, that custom career planning, really helping them, regardless of where an individual is in their life when they come into the center. All the services are offered. There are no assumptions made about what is needed. They're client centered, and so individuals who are being served have a high level of say so in what they utilize that's available to them at the center. The interview guidance, job search assistance, and supportive services are again available to job seekers. In the Last year, you see again 501 individuals were placed in a variety of different jobs across a variety of different industries: healthcare, manufacturing, construction, in a variety of jobs, retail. There's a number of career fairs or job fairs that are held at the center throughout the year. So there are numerous opportunities to be connected to employers while also doing the background prep and research and building your own individual capacity at those centers. And you see the average wage of those jobs last year were $18 an hour. So within adult services, we have some other particular programming. Here you see what we call construction training, which is a part of a program we call Kentuckiana Builds. That's a 6 weeks training. It's an introduction to construction training. You see those support services that again they get career coaching. There's obviously the job placement aspect, which is the idea if they get this training and then move into one of these construction opportunities. We've worked with a company that's been very supportive in hiring individuals that complete this training, and we hope that continues. We have work-related incentives that are built into the program, and we have supportive services that are critical to helping someone sustain themselves and sustain participation across that 6 weeks. That program is kind of led by the Urban League in partnership with us. Uh, in that, you see again, you got national credentials that are gained by participating in Kentucky on the bills. You see the OSHA 10 certification they get, first aid, CPR is a part of that. And dual credit is applicable to the associate's degree at JCTC, just for informational purposes. And this year they had a great year with 90 graduates, and they averaged $20, a little over $20 an hour with their average wage. Next up is our tech training program, which is a part of what we call Code Louisville, and it's expanded actually to Code Kentucky, but right now we're focusing on the Code Louisville program. This is an opportunity to get into if you're interested in tech. It's web development. It is fairly intensive in terms of the training and the courses work, but it still can lead to a wonderful opportunity into that. You see the data analysis with Python is a part of that, software development, and the data analytics for business. That is something that's pretty popular right now. But Code Louisville is another wonderful opportunity that we offer to job seekers. Again, as you hear, a variety of different kinds of opportunities, training and education. What ultimate with job placement out of these is the goal. Last year, in the case of Code Louisville, they celebrated their 1,000th placement. And this year they had about 87 individuals work their way through the Code Louisville program. Up next is a program we used to be called CEO, Center for Employment Opportunities, but now we refer to as Reentry Works. It's just, I don't want to, it's not solely a second chance opportunity program, but it does offer that pathway or support to individuals. Again, you see the services that are offered across the top, the job readiness, transitional employment, job coaching, placement. And then there's some retention services where there's an individual following up with you, staying connected to you after went through the training aspects of the Reentry Works program. And it's been very successful. The individuals participating in that are very serious about being successful in their transitions. We know how complicated that can be for individuals, and the services that are offered are absolutely centered around wrapping services around these individuals, and making sure to try to provide the supports that they need. In last year, this past year, they've served 42 individuals, and their average wage for the jobs that they were able to get placed in was around $16 an hour. I think we're going to close out on the programming in general with our Kentucky College Access Center. It's last but not least in any way, but KCAC is a program that offers opportunities, supports, and services to individuals looking to pursue education and continue their education. As you see there with the career counseling and assessment, the all mysterious and complicated at times FAFSA assistance that they provide is critical to individuals working there, helping them complete those forms. And that oftentimes is the only not the only, but certainly a very key financial line to those individuals in their success with pursuing education. We work with them on admissions applications. We help them search for scholarships and help them select the right schools. They do tours they usually do a college tour every year as well. Kentucky Access Center works with all populations, has a high level of multi-language learners that go through the Kentucky College Access Center. And they serve a ton of people, as you can see. Last year, 2,000 individuals were served Previously, it was 3,000, and that, in 2024. And you see there the number of clients with limited English proficiency that they're serving, over 1,000 of those individuals. But they're usually they're walking away from there with the services that they need to pursue education. So just from the quick run through of just some of the programming, the overview of KentuckianaWorks programming, particularly for employment and job seekers, you know, uh, one of the pieces that Yvonne's going to speak to in just a second, which is so critical, and the way she leads that and what she can explain to you, is around you all as practitioners or case managers making referrals to KentuckianaWorks for those employment related services. So once you follow up and you get to know us for yourselves, we're sure you'll discover ways to guide people to serve, that you serve, to job opportunities that we have available through these different programs. So, and we know those programs have improved a number of people's lives and the quality of a number of people's lives. And we hope today is helpful in helping you connect to us in a much deeper way. With that, I'll kind of pitch it to Yvonne and let her kind of tell you about that ways to connect to us more specifically. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. What an awesome job. What awesome programs that Kentuckiana Works operate and oversee. They are doing the work not just here in Jefferson County, but in the 7 county regions. It's all around helping people connect to career pathways and employment services. So, the best way to get to our services that we provide in our organizations, our partners, is to just simply go on the website, KentuckianaWorks.org. I did put that in the chat for everyone to look and see. You can copy and paste that right out of the chat into your email and just go on the site and explore the site. I would do that just in reference to find out what it is that we do, what it is that your customers may be interested in the most. And if you're interested in linking up with any of our partnering with any of our organizations, I did drop my email in the chat because that's what I do. I collaborate, I create partnerships, and develop new relationships. So I would be more than honored to connect you with one of our organizations, one of our required partners. Um, and if you, I'm not sure if anyone is familiar with the Unite Us platform, but we also send and receive referrals through that platform. If you're not familiar with that, you can reach out to me and I can directly connect you with the success manager at the Unite Us platform. And you all can set up an account and you all can send and receive referrals through a plethora of community partners. So it just wouldn't be Kentuckiana Works. But just honored to be here today. And thank you so much, Chris, for passing that over to me. Does anyone have any questions about how to go on the website and explore, or how did I provide that information correctly to everyone? And does anyone have any questions? Let's go there.
Yeah, now's your opportunity. Doesn't look like it. It's nice to have a website that people can access immediately, and then they've got your contact information. So if they have questions later on, they know how to reach you.
Yeah, the website has quite a bit of information on it, a number of links to different, it dives deep into some more specifics and details. So if you do get an opportunity, as Yvonne's saying, it's a wonderful resource to use and give you more information. I think there's one for you.
Absolutely, you do. So there has to be a leader, a manager that is can meet with the United Success Manager. We can go over the platform, all of the details of the platform. So if anyone's interested here, then please reach out to me, and I will be more than happy to bring our Louisville Workforce Region Success Manager from the Unite Us platform together with you to gain so you can gain more information and have a better understanding of how to send and receive referrals through that platform. Did that answer the question for you?
Yes, thank you. Okay.
You're more than welcome.
Other questions while we've got their attention, undivided attention for a few minutes? Okay, it looks like we're good then. Do you all have anything else you want to share or anything else that you can think of that we ought to know? You're muted, Chris.
I think just making sure, and I heard Yvonne mention it, you can walk into the center also. You'll be received well there. You'll be able to get the services that you're looking for. Um, the centers serve, individuals and clients and people from all walks of life in all kinds of situations. As I said earlier, um, wonderful people who want to work with you and help individuals get jobs if that's what they're looking for. And they understand, again, how they meet people where they are.
Okay, here's a couple of questions that have popped up. Do you use language line or interpretation for non-English speakers or for those with work visas?
I can
Yes.
take it, Chris.
Okay.
We do. We actually have a language sign in our Kentucky Career Center. We're located at 2820 West Broadway, Suite 100. We are located within the Goodwill Opportunity Campus, but we are a different entity from Goodwill. We are not Goodwill. We are the Kentucky Career Center on Broadway, Suite 100. If a customer walks in the center and they do not speak English, we do have handheld devices that interpret their language, but we also have a language line that they can set up an appointment with them later to better understand their career pathway or educational pathway. Yes, we do.
Good. And then the next question is assistance with financing trade programs, like if somebody wants to get their CDL or something similar.
So that's our partner. That's JCTC. They are our post-secondary partner, so they do handle CDL training funds. Yes. So the Kentucky Career Center will be able to guide you through the process of CDL training. Any other trainings that you're looking for, that's what they're there for. They'll guide you through that. If you walk into 2820 West Broadway, Suite 100, or if you go on the website and the phone number's there on the website, you can call or you can email me. My email is in the chat and I can connect you all that way.
Okay, would you put the address in the chat as well at 28?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That was my intention. I just started
I
talking.
know, too
Sorry.
many going on at one time.
Couple of quick things to add. Not much. One is we just finished a year of really pushing out. You asked about CDL specifically, but there was a bunch of funding that was rare for us that we got, and we was able to get a number of people trained through the CDL licenses. So individual training accounts, when we have funding and resources for that, and I think Ms. Anderson mentioned earlier about funding cuts and things like that. We are at times vulnerable to those as well. But training resources, when they're available, can be used at times by individuals to get things like CDL and other kind of certifications. And in terms of the interpreters or language devices, in some cases, like particularly our After the Tassel program and also Kentucky College Access Center, we do have individuals that on staff who are also speak other languages as well. So that's just an FYI. But yes, all the things that Yvonne mentioned are our features. And sometimes we have the luxury of having staffing that is also able to engage.
Anything else? These good questions, good discussion going on here. And I don't want to close things out without giving everybody an opportunity to have their concerns or questions addressed.
I would just suggest if you have not been to the Goodwill Opportunity Campus, that you do make your way down there. It is a great place. There are so many different services that are located in house. You do have Goodwill, soft skills, Good Start, you have legal aid, you have U of L Dental, you have the Barber School, there's Volunteers of America, there's TANF, SNAP, JCPS Adult Ed is co-located in-house with the Kentucky Career Center on Broadway. You have the Office of Vocational Rehabilitation co-located in-house. It's just so you have Job Corps co-located in-house. You have the Adult Dislocated Worker Team. We're all in-house. We're all located on that Goodwill Opportunity Campus that sits at 28th and West Broadway. We hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you giving us some time today and letting us know about all the opportunities that are available for our clients. We want our clients to be successful and to have meaningful and productive lives. And I think that this just opens up another door for them to achieve the things that they want for themselves and to like I said, have meaning in their lives, and the right job can do that for you. So thank you for your time today. Thank you for what you do, for what you bring to our clients. We really appreciate it. To everyone who was a participant today, you will get a request to complete a survey for the coalition. We do take these surveys seriously. We look at them to decide what needs to happen next. Is there anything we need to change, anything we need to do better? So please fill that out. And thank you for signing in today. Thank you for the questions and the discussion. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to me, and then you've got the contact information for our presenters today. You can reach them directly. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
All right, I'll leave this up for just a minute to
Thank you.
give everybody an opportunity to jot down or copy this information, and then I'll log everybody out. But you can go ahead and leave if you need to. Thanks.
Thank you.